Welcome. Welcome to number 10. Whew. Even though it has only been recently, after I completed number 9, the one called Dawn, Carriage, and Bridge. With eager excitement, we are jumping back into the big one. Double digits and big canvas. To take a precious moment to which we are recording, to sit and observe this large piece of paper with so much potential inside. It's thrilling, it's exciting, it's number 10. With eagerness, I think we're jumping into this one. And as I mentioned at the end of my previous video, we want to do something that is exciting. We'll have a think about the composition, about what could be put, portrayed, placed onto this paper. We'll have a think. But I am coming into this not with me in my search of soul, search of comfort, search of journey, search of a kind of required activity or action for me to release what's built up inside of me. We are coming to this one with a sense of celebration. It's as if we have traveled through tough terrain with baskets of gifts, of kind treats, and we have arrived at someone's guest house. And the guest house is, of course, it's the voice within us, within me. And I am here to sit at a table next to it with this other side. And of course, with celebration when the gifts are being placed onto the table and all of the invitees have arrived and are at least gathering one by one, even if the meal has begun. Oh, there will be many types of characters that join the table. Not only the good ones, but also the little devils that will come in, that will try to cause some mischief, hassle. There will be plenty of those. And of course, to filter out, to keep an eye, but we're there with the good, blissful, soulful, arrived from in areas of sunlit clouds, came down and sat down and eager just to chat. As in, you have made your first step with the drawings that I have done, and it feels like, okay, we'll give you a short talk. We'll talk to you. You seem like you're eager. In a humble way, I'm trying to say. I'm painting a picture here. will talk to you. It'll be short, it'll be brief, and we can do it in person and lightheartedly. As when the conversations were held previously, it was within the brackets of you have to do these certain things or there will be significant consequences if you do not. And now it feels like we'll give you a slight blink, a slight spark, a slight perspective of the joy and happiness that can be achieved, well, felt, be within that environment, as long as the callings have been answered from you. So this is me in a very precious moment, I believe, where be ambitious, it tells me, but take it easy this time. You're allowed. Experiment, splash, splash, wave your hand, see what comes out. And then I'm sure once it's time to say goodbye, they will tell me before my departure, don't forget to set your alarm because we're waking up early. And I am very well aware of that. We are very well aware of that. But moments like this have to be cherished. So, I set up an A1 size paper. This is the largest size of paper that I have ever drawn on throughout my entirety. A1. I have a few compositions with this size, and I have never drawn bigger than this. Anything else bigger that I have done was not on a canvas, it was in mural format. So we are revisiting our boundaries now, I believe. This is our, as I would like to say, maybe not lifetime, but yeah, sure, why not? Our lifetime personal record in terms of the size. The size from artistic perspective means something, but it not necessarily does. What it does allow me is to not only use my wrist, but also to use my elbow, which is very exciting. So this will be a lot more expressionate, because I will have to reach the boundaries of the tape here and the corners of this page. I have to maneuver not only my wrist here or flick only my fingers, but really go at it with all of my stem. And of course, that's building up to drawings where I use my whole arm, to the roots, to the shoulder. And I can only imagine if I do one where I have to get involved in levels, if I have to stand up, if I have to crouch, lay down. So that's very fun. Just like as when you have a very pleasant stretch after a long day, it's pleasant. It's not that you only stretch your wrists and that. No, you go full body, you do all of these exercises. Well, I think this is what this is. This is a big, long stretch. At least a big, long stretch to what my capabilities are with my um, with my level of able flexibility. It's not too much, but it's a little. And just like with anything, with more and more and more, the more you get. So, to cut this introduction, I'll say one more thing about it being number 10. We're not going to overly celebrate the video format. Well, maybe we'll stumble upon something. I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, what's that? Some pastel. We already covered. So, this is more to do what we know, and if we stumble upon something, we stumble. We do that every single video, we do that every single form of art, and we won't overextend ourselves to make some sort of a difference just for the sake of making it different. And that sometimes it might not turn out the way it must turn out. It's good to sometimes stumble upon new things which work, fantastic. And also you maybe want to push it a little bit forward where you're putting yourself into situations where you will be experiencing and finding out new things that you might like or which you can incorporate. But going to look for things that are different for the sake of it might, out of that, leave a lot of things that built you the base to allow for you to go and look for these things behind. And you might start to turn back and maybe view them in a negative light because you're looking through the lens of, oh, it's the same, I've done it again, I've done it before. And no, no, certain things have to remain the same. Well, at least familiar and things like that. Fundamental characteristic traits, for example, they don't change overnight. Over weeks, over months, they don't. Over years, they do. So yes, I think that's a fairly exciting and personally exhilarating moment that we're in right now. And we're going to have fun. What we're gonna do actually as well, we have lots and lots and lots of broken pieces of pastel. So show it. So here we go at the bottom here. And what this allows us, because this is a much larger canvas, we are less limited by the finality of the lines that we draw. So we can go all out and we can use those up, which is good. And maybe even use those up for base, because the base might be a little bit bigger. Maybe, we'll see what we compose. But I think that's that. I think that is that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. we go. So, whilst I'm putting together all of my little broken pieces of pastel, there's many. There's a whole new box equivalent of broken pieces here, which is actually great because we are finding purpose for them. And I've had the chance to really take in and soak in this large canvas here. And we're talking about that means of visiting guests, visiting individuals, that almost celebrative emotion that we might proceed to go on to. And kind of spark some ideas. What kind of ideas? Maybe some sort of a space where there are musical instruments, lots of liveliness, maybe tables filled with treats. Let's have a look. And fantastic, I see that I can zoom out with the size of the paper here. So I'm able to be seen fullier without the compromise of missing the little details that I might sketch. So that's fun. Okay. Well then, here we go. Here we go. Okay. I am out of words. I am absolutely stumped of what just happened here. This was the purest definition to what I could describe from my own personal self of the soul, God, everything that is above, just channeling everything through and riding on that word. Just enjoy yourself. Just have fun, have free time. That is incredible. And the way that I when I was composing things, everything just fell into place so easily. And I kind of, so for example, when I started off with the piano, I thought, okay, there has to be music in this celebration. So piano, then I placed the violin. There has to be music. There has to be plants on top to help them grow from the sound of music. Then a little chair that lets all ages, children, parents, elderly, to sit down, adjust themselves if needed, find inspiration within the view out of the window, and then here are baskets of treats and fruit and all of the harvest that we gathered from our journey, placing it on the table a little bit, and then we finalize with relaxing by taking off our shoes. Wow. I'm actually enjoying the freedom that you get by painting large. I need to think about that. What does that mean? It's so much more. The fine little details and all of that is good. What I see I've done. I think that's just a natural progression because I think I was intimidated by the big size. And only through experience I'm able to unlock not only the ability to compose large, but also a sense of freedom, enjoyment as well, that I received, which I was scared to do initially. I thought it would have been terrifying, but clearly it's so much more. It's like when you make that leap and you actually jumped over that gap, and then once you were able to jump over it, that just unlocked you with this new shortcut, new ability, fearlessness, courage, that makes everything just more fun. And that's also a story to remember. I remember many times in my childhood, especially when there was things, just a complete literal analogy, as it was many of us in our friend group, and we were all children. And every day there was new things, there was new goals, there was new exciting adventures. And one time I remember there was this big gap to jump over, and it wasn't anything deep, but if you did miss it, you could get hurt. You could. Maybe not very significantly, but there was that danger. And how many I cannot recall exactly, but I used to come out early in the garden. We would, like, literal translation would be just in the outside, in the playing field, everywhere. And I used to come outside early before anyone else, because we were all competing who's gonna make this jump first. And I used to come out early and just look at it, meditate and look at it, just deal with the not the challenge, but the adversary, the opponent. Deal with it, examine, make sure, yes, whatever, yes, maybe practice a little bit on something, make sure I walk around it so my balance is correct, have a little boot camp in other things, yes. But you freeze, and then something happened that it's more of an emotion. It's like, I don't care anymore. And it's, I don't care that I get hurt. It's, what is all of this inside? You come to a sensation where you're like, what are you? I see through it now. All of this was just noises, garbage, mush, everything. And you're like, what am I scared of? And then you jump. And it's the most terrifying thing. And you land. And you're like, yes! Yes! And then you maybe or maybe not will go again and jump again just to make sure. And through doing it a few times, you get overconfident, and then you get hurt. And then you understand that, yes, you are not invincible. Don't be fooled that because you jumped over this, you can jump over anything and everything can happen to you. Nothing can happen to you. No, this is a real adversary. This is not to how big you made it seem to be, but it's a real adversary. You have to take caution, but you can do it. So I think this is what, with the size that I'm doing right here, is happening here. And this is I think this is the most enjoyable beginnings to a drawing that I have. It just feels like I just went, like, it's so deep you could dive through it. And I think that's what happened here. I just dived in. I think this is a good first day to that long party that we are going to go on to here. Well, long, I don't know. Maybe this is like, maybe God from upstairs is telling me, okay, quickly, do it, let's get back to work, you know? Yeah, have your fun, look, it's all filled in with color. Tomorrow you sit down, the day after, maybe something like this, come on, quickly, unwrap it, come on, let's go. Maybe. instruments here, all this food. Where you're gonna be playing piano all your life, or what? Playing piano all your life is a gift. It's would be great. Come on, you know. Yeah. So I think that's great. What's happening here? Okay, I'll end it like this, and I think that's a good start. And we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up tomorrow. I'll quickly record a little zoom in of the entirety, and then we might cut to another little short conversation, or I think we're just gonna maybe go into it back. We'll see how we feel. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Okay. Hello. Ooh. Look what I have done here. The piece ended up being, even though appropriately fitting to the limits of the canvas, I have thought that it might have been too big. So we placed it on the wall. It began to be almost like a construction site on the canvas with this drawing. Partly not fully that it is big, but of this new style, new method that I am going for here. And when I things and really scribble in with the pastel, the canvas itself, it's beginning to shake. And I'm able to brace it so that it stays stable, but it's only for a limited amount of time before it falls out of the sturdy place and it begins to dance again. So I thought I would transfer the piece on the wall and have a solid backing block wall that I believe will be able to do its justice for when I am tapping on the paper. And also, this is actually very cool. It gives me nostalgic memories of when I used to do murals. So that's kind of an exciting part of it as well. And lastly, I'm able to place it really head on straight without having it slanted, which might be a little bit uncomfortable at some points, but it gives me good coordination, and also when I step back, I'm able to see it very appropriately, without any angles or specific ways I need to maybe look at it. I can very easily just, even if I lean back, get a full grasp of what's going on. This is just me speaking from past experience of what I foresee the benefits of this to be. And there might be other ones that come out from it as well. I do know that with this method, there's one painful thing. My hand will become tired more quickly, more faster. And, well, I'm not going to start saying that art is difficult, but and I am not. So I think it's a little appropriate that something that you enjoy doing so much gives you that slight discomfort that then you're able to train for and become accustomed to it. So that's okay. One thing I am very much excited for is that because of the sturdiness, I'm able to really apply the color and pastel, which is very, very, very intriguing of what that is going to look like. Because I might actually be able to place final lines very, very, very easily. So that's, I think, very cool. And besides that, oh yes, I've also placed a piece of paper here. This is solely for leverage. When I draw, I can hold on if it's something a little bit more intricate or something that I'm really going at it. And paper is here because when I change the pastels, when I shorten them, when I try to adjust the tip of it, when I use two hands or when I use the cloth to clean my hands, I don't want to rub off and carry over the painting onto the wall. So that's the idea of that. So I think that's an update, which I think I'm happy with. And we're just gonna continue with this style. I think this is very interesting what's happening here. It's very, very expressive. It's very expressive. With my previous pieces, especially that one there in the corner, it was all about styles. It's all about maybe curvy lines, things like that. This one, it's pure emotion. which I think, well, pure emotion there too. I remember how much I struggled with that one. And we're kind of going for something here, which is, I think, very cool. I think it's all cool. This is just different, and we're on the frontier of that, and that's just exciting, as it was for every single other piece. Okay, so I'm gonna begin, and also I'm editing whilst recording. I try to do it at the same time simultaneously, and I'm excited to see how the fast forwarding of the progress of art is picked up. Because one thing is great, I don't have to cut out any parts of the drawing. I know it's faster, but I'm able to salvage it all, which is great. That's one great thing about it. I don't have to do snippets, but I'm just able to do like a time lapse. It's actually much more interesting to watch as well. Rewatch it. So yes, I think that's that. Okay, all right, let's pick it up. Okay. I I think I'm done. I think this is done. I smudged it, I mudged it, and I'll say a funny thing. So I called my mom for opinion, and to quote, in the chaos of color, the furniture surprisingly and the scene surprisingly stands out. The chaos of color. Emotion of color. The purposeful color to express emotion. Chaos. I have to disagree. So I think I'm done. I don't think I can smudge it any more than I already have. And I feel like, whilst looking at it, it's done. I feel like everything's on paper. I don't think there's anything else I can contribute here. So I think I'm going to set up, unveil it, and talk about it for a few minutes, and really do give my decisive observation. But I am very surprised of how long it took me to complete this. Maybe that's a sign for something good. Okay, let me do that. I think this is done. I'm very ambiguous in my decision here because I am a little bit in shock of how fast I managed to compose this largest piece I've done, and of how everything just came together to done, and then I feel like it's out. I don't feel anything inside me that could be contributed here. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll call it. Okay. Whew. I'm a little bit stumped of how fast this came out. Let's just get this off. Okay. My hands are certainly not that long to keep the entirety of the piece in shot for me to rip the masking tape off in one go. But I hope rotations are not going to conceal too much. Ooh, look at how fast I'm doing this without hesitation. And I have a few things already to say once I stand up in front of it. I'm a little bit out of commentary for the moment, but that is partly because I want to really unveil some thoughts once I stand up and focus on it, and also that I'm still realistically in slight disbelief out of the outcome here, just purely for the rapidity and speed. I think it's very much shown just by the way I unveiled it. So this piece is so big I can't even see it properly. I have to stand up for me to really see it. I'm not standing up yet. I think I'm going to unveil it at the same time properly with a close-up, properly in front of the camera, so I get a genuine reaction. But that's that. Okay, all right, let's set this up. Clearly a deep breath. A deep breath was needed for the absurdity, the absolute absurdity of this piece. And I mean absurdity in the most optimistic, unforeseeingly wide open path that this has been for me, for this piece. So I unveiled it. I did go against what I said about having a first look on camera, but I just glimpsed at it, and I don't know what I saw in terms of the shock that how fun it was to compose this, how much different it is from anything else that I've done here, which I already gave a little bit of a cinematic close-up of them all, and how fast the process went. It was like, don't catch up on anything, don't get yourself hooked on anything, just do. And look how it turned out so different than any of my pieces, and I intrinsically feel like, wow. I actually feel like this might be the best piece I've ever done. Because it feels like this is exactly how I feel inside of me at this moment, where I was never able to capture that ever perfectly. Perfectly is a big word, I understand that. But I think that this word I've chosen right now, maybe with a caveat to say that this is as close as I've gotten so far to go within myself and portray it on paper. Oof. And not only with this, I feel like this party I was talking about, this festivities, this celebration, this come and sit down next to the table, we'll have a chat, maybe you'll pick up on things, maybe you'll pick up on some things, maybe you'll tell us some things. So new style, new way of drawing, new way to express myself. Also on the editing side, I've introduced the time lapses, the little bit of different types of cutting within the video. It's just been this kind of unlocking of things that were always meant to be there. And we'll see how that editing thing, just specifically that, comes out. But hey, that's just a work in progress, and we'll see how how it goes after 20 more, you know, whatever. But the suggestive means that this was a festivity scene where you're out to relax. It wasn't a type of relaxing where you just take a break and you don't think about it and you just step aside from art itself. But this was more of a take a break, let go of some of the locks, the pads, the vices, and just do what you really want to do. What's inside of you. I think that was the break. And with that break, to carry that over with you and learn how to finally ride the bike that you were trying to learn for so long how to do. And I think that's, well, I'm not going to say anything more than that, because I could not even imagine anything as such when I did my initial pieces. Just could not even foresee any of this, that it would come out to this style. So what am I not foreseeing further on? I don't know. That's why I don't want to say anything else. Not out of humbleness or anything as such that might obscure that path. It's just I know that whatever maybe I will say now at this moment have empty meaning. So I am residing to just be silent and listen and see what comes out, which is just simply curiosity. Now in my head is driving the entirety of this process, where okay, I'm all ears now. Something, the soul inside of me or something came out, proved it to me. That just listen. I think that's it. I think dawn has set. The festivities are over. And it's time to go. We learned, I think, how to have extensive amount of fun. And that is a difficult thing, I believe, to achieve, at least from personal experiences, where you have to put in effort into a specific item, and where that effort just exalts from you without any physical restriction. And by my own satisfaction of what is on the wall here, I am a little bit more clearly aware that just because significant exhaustion has not succumb me from a drawing, as with this, it does not condemn it to be not a satisfying piece. That if you don't place in enough effort, then it doesn't count. I think the angle here is that effort was placed, just more precisely, more accurately. Precision and comfortability. Something like that. I could there you could derive that thought a long way from here, but I think I'll say that's enough of that. I think that's enough of that. And I think that this is, well, number 10. That's what this is. Number 10. Number 10. And I think this is the end. That's it.